Teacher Shell Learning Resource Channel. Let's read a short story with comprehension check. Golly-Grue's new hat. Golly-Grue and Grimbletoes were dwarfs who lived deep in the forest. Golly-Grue loved to cook. Grimbletoes loved to make things. They had been together for more years than humans could count, and they did everything together. One day at the market, Golly-Grue found a lovely piece of cloth. It was a pale yellow with tiny flowers printed on it. "This will make a lovely new hat," Golly-Grue told Grimbletoes. Every night after the chores were done, Golly-Grue sat in her rocking chair by the fire and worked on her new hat. She cut the cloth. She quilted the cloth to make it warmer. Then she stitched the hat. On the first night, Grimbletoes chuckled as Golly-Grue sewed. "What's so funny?" Golly-Grue asked. Grimbletoes said, "I am just watching the beetles crawl around." Golly-Grue shook her head and kept sewing. Grimbletoes could be silly sometimes. She didn't see any bugs. The next night, Golly-Grue stitched the top of her hat. Grimbletoes chuckled as he read a book. "Is your book funny?" Golly-Grue asked. Grimbletoes nodded, smiling. "Yes, and so are the stink bugs crawling around." Golly-Grue shuddered. Stink bugs smelled bad. She looked around. She didn't see any bugs. The next night, Golly-Grue sat by the fire and sewed the brim of her hat. Grimbletoes chuckled. "What's so funny?" Golly-Grue asked. Grimbletoes lowered his book and looked over at Golly-Grue. "Nothing. I'm just watching the grasshoppers jump around." "You and your bugs," Golly-Grue said. She rolled her eyes and shook her head. She didn't see any bugs. The fire was starting to go out when Golly-Grue tied the knot on her last stitch. She held up her hat with pride. It was a pretty hat. She had added flowers around the brim. She couldn't wait to wear it to market the following day. "Well, good night, Grimbletoes," Golly-Grue said. She stood and placed her hat on the seat of her rocking chair. "Good night, Golly-Grue," Grimbletoes said with a smile. He chuckled. The next morning was sunny and bright. Golly-Grue and Grimbletoes got up early and dressed in their best to go to the market. Golly-Grue grabbed her hat and followed Grimbletoes out the door. Golly-Grue placed her hat on her head to block the sun from her eyes. She smiled as they walked through the woods. Golly-Grue's hat jumped. Her hat wiggled. Her hat hopped right off her head, and a stink filled the air. Golly-Grue screamed. Grimbletoes laughed. "What's so funny?" Golly-Grue demanded as she jumped around on the forest path. Grimbletoes could barely speak from laughing. The beetles, the stink bugs, and the grasshoppers crawled into her hat as you were sewing. Golly-Grue stared at the hat. It lay on the forest path and wiggled and jumped. She scowled for a moment. Then she laughed. She picked up the hat and went back home. She had to let the bugs out. Your turn to read, kids. Good job! This time, let's answer the questions from the story. Number 1. What did Golly-Grue love to do? A. Cook. B. Make things. C. Read books. You're right. The correct answer is letter A. Cook. Number 2. What did Grimbletoes love to do? A. Cook. B. Make things. C. Sew hats. You're right. The correct answer is letter B. Make things. Number 3. What did Golly-Grue find at the market? A. A lovely piece of cloth. B. A new cooking pot. C. A book. You're right. The correct answer is letter A. A lovely piece of cloth. Number 4. What color was the cloth Golly-Grue found? A. Blue. B. Pale yellow. C. Green. You're right. The correct answer is letter B. It's pale yellow. Number 5. What did Golly-Grue decide to make with the cloth? A. A dress. B. A scarf. C. A hat. You're right. The correct answer is letter C. A hat. Number 6. What did Grimbletoes find funny on the first night Golly-Grue sewed? A. The story in his book. B. The beetles crawling around. C. The fire. You're right. The correct answer is letter B. The beetles crawling around. Number 7. What bugs did Grimbletoes mention on the second night? A. Stink bugs. B. Beetles. C. Grasshoppers. You're right. The correct answer is letter A. Stink bugs. Number 8. Why did Golly-Grue shudder on the second night? A. Because Grimbletoes cried. B. Because of the stink bugs. C. Because it was cold. You're right. The correct answer is letter B. Because of the stink bugs. Number 9. What did Golly-Grue add to her hat to make it pretty? A. Beads. B. Ribbons. C. Flowers. You're right. The correct answer is letter C. Flowers. Number 10. What happened to Golly-Grue's hat when she put it on to go to the market? A. It blew off in the wind. B. It wiggled and hopped off her head. C. It got caught on a branch. You're right. The correct answer is letter B. It wiggled and hopped off her head. How many scores did you get? Wow, that's a good job. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button to be notified on our next episodes. Goodbye, kids!